Chương trình này được bảo trợ bởi
Family Joy, tổ ấm y tế của mọi gia đình, 714 898 0765.
Welcome back to the OC Health and Education Show on Little Saigon TV. I'm your host, Julie DIEP. Today at the station we have Reverend William Moses Somerville on our show. We've been talking about his journey on how he got here, and just before the commercial break we had an opportunity to learn such an important message, and I know it's so hard to wrap our head around, but we have to learn how to receive before we can truly, I think, understand the happiness of giving. So Reverend, thank you for being on the show today and for giving us such important message. But I think, when we hear it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But I think in order for us to put it to practice, mm-hmm. it just feels so selfish.
Yeah, and notice I did not say be selfish when it comes to receiving. Okay. But what you're providing yourself is with self-care. And that's the distinct difference. In learning how to receive, are we receiving from a space of self-care, or are we receiving, and are we working out to receive, to not be selfish, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
So then the question becomes, when is my need fulfilled and I don't become greedy? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
so the difficulty is understanding when we receive. Mm-hmm. Is it in a space of self-care, or is it borderline greed and maybe an abundance?
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
So I think that's a very important message, because once we receive, mm-hmm. we always feel like, almost, am I worthy?
Right.
Right. And oftentimes I think, my friend Tina, she, one day for Mother's Day, she came to my office and gave me these beautiful orchids. And I said, oh, that must cost a lot of money. You got to return it or give it to someone else that deserves it. And she gave me that lesson. She says, Julie, I went to the store. Right. I took the time to drive there. I took the time to pick out the flower that reminded me of you. And you just threw it back in my face. And that was really my epiphany. Yeah. I think when I finally learned how to receive was like, wow, it was for self-care.
Yes.
It's because she loved me, mm-hmm. because she knows that I'm worthy mm-hmm. of her time, her money, and her love.
And you learned that you were worthy of love.
Yes, yes.
And that's what I celebrate more. There's a reason why your name translated in Vietnamese is White Gem.
Yes.
So embrace that, celebrate that.
Yes, yeah. But I think that's such an important message, because I think a lot of times when we tell parents, like especially Mother's Day, we just had Mother's Day, mm-hmm. and we always say mothers are the most selfless person. Mm-hmm. But you're reminding the mothers and the fathers and the caregivers and the teachers,
that's right,
and the healthcare providers,
yes,
of the world,
mm-hmm.
to focus also on self-care.
That's right.
So they can give more of their self and their service to their patients,
exactly.
their family, and their loved one.
Yeah.
So thank you again for that message.
No problem.
Julie, cảm ơn quý vị. Hôm nay Julie có thời gian nói chuyện với Reverend William Moses Somerville. Một cái message mà Reverend nói rất là quan trọng hôm nay là nhắc nhở quý vị là mình phải hiểu là receiving là cái gì. Receiving là mình chấp nhận cái quà với nó kêu bằng cái self-care. Chứ ai cho tặng mình cái quà đó, mình có thấy đó có giúp cho mình được không? Chừng nào mình thấy mình có giá trị, hay mình thấy cái người mà đã cho mình tặng mình cái quà đó, họ thương mến mình, họ mới tốn cái thời gian họ làm cái đó. Thì Julie hy vọng quý vị hiểu là mình phải chấp nhận cái quà, có thể mình mới lúc mà mình cho hay mình giúp mọi người nó mới có ý nghĩa, với nó có giúp nhiều hơn. Julie thấy nhiều bạn của Julie là bác sĩ, họ therapist, họ chaplain, cũng có rất cái nhiều khó khăn trong mùa Covid, tại cũng có mình thấy nhiều người mất mạng, mà mình luôn mình giúp bệnh nhân, mà chừng nào mình không có chú ý về cái body của mình, về để cho cái tâm thần của mình, về cái sức khỏe của mình, thì có thể mình không có được giúp nhiều người trong gia đình với người xung quanh. So I was just trying to explain, to the community, and especially I think a lot of our minority community. We're in this space of truly, it takes a village, you know, and we always want to be part of this village, and part of this village means giving and to being part of the community. But I think the reminder again that you're reminding us is, don't forget you are a crucial and essential part of this community. Can you help elaborate about, you know, I know you have a program called KCC Community. Can you kind of bring that together for us?
So KCCC Community is an abbreviation for Kingdom Come Community Church.
Okay.
Where that's the church that I lead as senior pastor and founded.
Wow.
But we're a small grassroots community, and basically our mission and vision is to love all people as a reflection of God. And so when I look at you, I see God. And so, and that's how, and to interact with each other as such. Also, I think the gift of this COVID, clearly COVID context and this pandemic has had its challenges.
Yes.
Make no mistake. But COVID has also forced us to do some inward reflection that I hope we caught the lesson with in light of this pandemic, that we, in essence, are on the tail end of that could be argued. My work as a spiritual care provider in light of this COVID context has been to really provide more care to nursing staff, or not just nursing staff, hospital staff, hospital workers, and so forth, more than the identified patients and even identified parishioners within my church congregation.
Wow.
Because we had to move everything virtually and whatnot. And so our faith of looking inward and coming in tune with our inner spiritual self, that was put to the test. That was put to the test to really see, okay, let's see how this faith thing works out.
Yeah,
So,
and I know, you know, during COVID, we definitely know that there are so many challenges, but I think many of us are learning to see the silver lining.
That's it.
And to see, I have a gratitude of what we have. And I think that that's such an important lesson. I know today, the main reason I wanted to kind of invite you at this point was I feel that we're on this transition.
Yeah.
To almost to come back to the community and to see each other's beautiful faces and feel our souls and our passion and kind of come back together again. You know,
Yeah.
I hope that you continue to inspire everybody in the community and give us hope.
Yeah, well, this is what we're here for. This is why you welcomed me here, just as much as with my service even within the Vietnamese community. What that involves, especially my work in hospice chaplaincy,
Yes.
is traveling at people's homes. And you identify this getting back to community or getting back to normal of sorts. And I would invite to say renegotiating a new normal. Because if we get back to normal, we may be back here again. And so the question becomes, how did life's lessons, what are we learning through all of this, and learning about ourselves and how we stay in tune?
Yes,
So, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I know right now during COVID, we definitely have many lessons that we learn. And I think even learning how to communicate with each other better.
Right.
I think communication has been something that we lack even before COVID, but I think during COVID, we learned different ways to communicate. After the commercial break, we'll definitely have more opportunities to talk to Reverend Williams today and continue to be inspired and find that hope to bring us to a different new normal. Julie cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi chương trình Kiến thức Y khoa Gia đình và Xã hội. Julie hy vọng có nhiều thời gian nói chuyện với Reverend William Moses Somerville.